Amen. You may be seated even now in the presence of the Lord. And I want to ask that you would repeat with me this slide 3 times as we really kind of reinforce what this month's teaching has been all about. Let's repeat this together. Spiritual transformation, key to victory. Again, spiritual transformation, key to victory. One last time. Spiritual transformation, key to victory. So would you agree with me? It is time for us to embrace the spiritual transformation that God has already made available for us. If so, would you just join me in giving God another hand clap of praise in Jesus' name? So I want to go back and deal with 3 spiritual principles on today. As you know, we've been spending this month, this year and last year, looking at the word extraordinary and taking a look every month at one of the letters in that word extraordinary. So we conclude our teaching today with this idea of transformation. We spent some time talking last month about expectation, and now we end this month talking about transformation. So I want to have 3 spiritual principles that we want to unlock, and I want to make sure we have a chance to begin this. So this transformation overview. To be clear that we leave this month with an understanding of what it is to be spiritually transformed and the difference between an inner transformation and an outer transformation. So we spent some time talking before about what part of us was repaired, renewed, and regenerated when we were saved. And we said before, we are a what? Spirit. We possess a soul. We live in a body. We are a spirit. We possess a soul. We live in a body. We are a spirit. We possess a soul. We live in a body. And we talked before about our spirit. This idea of the spirit. So when we talked about, what's the difference again, we said, between the spirit and the soul. And one way to think about this that helps me remember is the spirit, first of all, is where we get elucidation, is where we get clarity. If there's a situation before us, if there's a problem before us, if there's an issue before us, it's through our spirit where God will provide clarity. Not only that, it's also where we get our revelation. There's some things you know and said that you could not have learned in a book. There's some things you know and have said that nobody told you about. There's some things you know and said that only came straight from the grace of God. And revelation is how God speaks to us from spirit to our spirit. And also this idea of the I is identification. It is through our spirit that we are identified with Christ. 1 John 4:7 says, as he is in this world, so are we. So our spirit is just like Jesus' spirit. And so we are just like he was when he was in the earth. And then lastly, communication. That God does not speak to our mind. Yeah, you may see a sign or may hear something, but he speaks primarily spirit to spirit. John 4:24 says, they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. So it is through our spirit. When we got saved, our spirit became just like Jesus. Say it with me. When I got saved, my spirit became just like Jesus' spirit. Come on, you ought to just give God a hand clap of praise for that idea, the idea about this spirit here. So the spirit. So then we talked this idea about the soul. And if you want to think about the soul, think about kitty cat over here, the meow. And we talked about our soul. So there's a difference between the spirit and the soul. Again, I grew up all my life thinking those were one and the same. And so it is our spirit that got renewed, regenerated, and restored, but not our soul. When so talking about our soul, would be our what? Our mind, our emotions, our opinions, and our will. Just because somebody got saved does not mean their mind automatically got changed. If they came in with stinking thinking before they got saved, they will get saved and leave with stinking thinking. Is that so? And all this stuff, I looked at my hands, they looked new, looked at my feet, they did too. No, you got the same bunches and corns you always had. So it's about when we got saved, it was only our spirit that got saved. Our soul remained the same. And our body definitely remained the same. So what happens now? So since we got saved, it is now up to us to make sure that we are in the Word, according to Romans 12:1, to renew our minds. And the more I get in the Word and renew my mind, then I'm going to start thinking like Jesus and believing like Jesus and trusting like Jesus and relying like Jesus, because my spirit is already perfect. And now when my soul lines up with it, we bring our body along. So when we got saved, what part was regenerated, renewed, and repaired? It was our spirit And now it is up to us to go through to get into the Word. And as we are in the Word, God says, I will transform you. I want you to know right now, everybody here knows that we all have some habits and have some tendencies that were not godly. But we got into the Word. God, I'm telling you, God is such a wonderful God. He will take away the taste of things that used to taste good. He will take away the appetite of things that are not like Him. If you continue to stay in the Word, He says, if you behold, I will do all of the transforming. So when we got saved, our spirit became just like His. And so here's what happens now. So there are people who love the Lord and people who are going to heaven who are saved, who have never renewed their minds. Their spirit is just like Jesus, but their mind has not been renewed. So they're hanging around the same people they hung around and doing the same things they used to do. And there's no evidence of salvation. It is the most important thing anybody who's born can do is to be saved and born again. And the most important thing a believer can do is to have a renewed mind. So that our mind, our emotions, our opinions, and our wills will start lining up with our spirit to believe exactly what Jesus said as well. So that our scripture we'll read in just a moment, all of our teaching this entire month has come from Romans 12, 1 and 2 from King James, Amplified and Message translation. So we spent some time taking a look at our definition of transformation. And we talked about, yes, it goes from a current state to a future state, no question. And we talked about, again, many of us see ourselves as this lump of coal, and there's a diamond inside it. When we got saved, I love what Paul says, that we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of God and not of us. I'm telling you, you got some treasure inside of you right now. When you got born again, there was some treasure inside. And we are so consumed with the filth on the outside, we forget the favor that came from the inside. We have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of God and not of us. So we want to talk about, there are two words from the Greek that are used for transformation. And we spent some time really talking about this. This is our last Sunday, and I want to make sure we really get clear about this. Metaschematizo is a change of a figure, a change in figure. So what happens is, the Transformers movie, there was a change in figure, a robot going to a car, to a jet or something. Well, here's what happened. Just because there was an outward change does not mean there was an inward change. You can have folks that can change their eye color and still be the same. Change the length of their hair, they can buy some. They had that much hair, all the way to the floor next day, and all that outward change occurred, but that does not automatically mean an inward change occurred. So metaschematizo is about saying that all we see is this outward change, and there's nothing necessarily that occurred and changed in the inside. Please read this with me from 2 Corinthians 11, 14, and 15. And no wonder, for Satan himself keeps transforming himself, metaschematizo, he transformed himself into an angel of light. It is therefore nothing great if his ministers also keep transforming, metaschematizo now, themselves into ministers of righteousness. So here's the point. We know that the devil is not changing his nature, but he will go back and become an angel of light so that we can allow him into our lives and into our hearts and into our minds. And he is not showing up with this big pitchfork, a long tail, breathing dragon, and some horns on his head. He's going to show up in a way that he knows is going to be pleasing to you. A fresh fade. Straight up out the beauty shop. He's not going to show up in a way that goes in here saying, and that's I'm the devil. He's going to show up in a way as an angel of light that's going to look good on the outside, but his desire is to take us out. John 10:10 Amplified says that the thief only comes, the only reason he comes is to steal and to kill and to destroy. But Jesus says that I came that you may have life and have life more abundantly and to the overflow. So the devil is going to come to steal, kill, and destroy. But our role is to be transformed so we can start enjoying the abundant life that Jesus made available. Anybody ready to enjoy that abundant life Jesus made available? I said, anybody ready to enjoy the abundant life that Jesus shed his precious blood for? So we got to be careful about who we let get close to us. And just because you're a sheep, and they may look like a sheep, Something that's going on the inside. Be careful who you let into our holy of holy. Everybody doesn't need to know your business.
Come on.
I don't understand how married folk go to single folk for advice.
Come on.
So anyway, so the point is, so manuscriptism is changing outwardly, but there are no inward changes. Look what happens here. This outward change occurs how? From human effort. Anybody can buy some hair. Anybody can buy some eye color. Anybody, and I'm telling you, I need to go back and stop owning these nail shops now, because y'all, now you got 4 toes painted one way, 5th toe painted something else. I don't understand, but anybody can do all that. That's based on human effort. So the idea, so there's not, just because it happened and changed on the outside, that does not automatically imply an inward change. We are good there. So the next one is metamorpho. It's a change in form. A change in form. Please read this, please. It is an inward change that occurs that is reflected outwardly. It is when you just start watching somebody who got serious about their relationship with God. And they're not doing the stuff they used to do anymore. Not trying to impress you because God is transforming. It's somebody who doesn't display these bad habits anymore because there's been a real transformation. See, anybody can act holy on Sunday mornings. Anybody can go in here and act like everything's good on Sunday morning. But this metamorpho says that now I trust God so much that even though I don't know the outcome, I know God has my back. I rely on God so much that I know the works were finished from the foundation of the earth. I know before I went on the job interview, I already have that job. I don't even need to see the paper because I know it's mine. So I'm going to start preparing to go on this new job because I know that transformation has already occurred. That's an inward change that's reflected outwardly. So over here, on one side, before we get transformed, the world says you just step on anybody you can. Knock them down. Keep them down. If the only way to go high according to the world is to put them down. But when you start recognizing we've been transformed, I don't need to put you down to raise myself up. We can all go up together and trust and rely on God. When real transformation has occurred. See, when real transformation has occurred, I don't have to get jealous when I see God's favor in your life. That I'm just so happy that God is showing you favor. And that I got to ask you, what did you do to get that favor so I now can apply it to my life? If you want what other folk had, do what they did. You can't talk about Kitty Cat. I'm telling you, Kitty Cat about to waste away. She just been going, she ain't looking good. My little cousin looking good over there. Just going through this, just knocking off pounds. I know. But you can't keep on eating Twinkies. Tell me I want to lose weight and look like you, Kitty, because girl, you got it going on, and you got some moon pies and blow pops and Twinkies every day for dinner. You find out what she did and do what she did if you really want to get the results she has. So the transformation is occurring. They're really at this point that even though the world says you put somebody down, the word says, no, I'm not going to go higher because I put you down. I'm going to go higher when I lift you up. And we're going to all go up together because we recognize that God is no respecter of person and God didn't have favoritism. And we're going to trust and rely on who God is. Anybody know God's a good God? Anybody know He's a great God? It's about the transformation that has occurred here. So read this with me, please. It is the invisible process in which Christians experience unceasing change into the image of Christ. I love this one now. Only God can make this kind of inward change in us. You can't buy it from a store. Sally Beauty Supply doesn't carry it. You got to recognize it only occurs when we are allowing God to change us, as we'll see in a moment, from the inside out. So when we got saved, what part was changed? Our spirit. And then now we go in and read the Word, and as we read the Word and reflect on the Word and meditate on the Word, our mind, our emotion, our will, our spirit, our will gets transformed, and then our spirit and our soul are in alignment with what God has promised. So let's read this verse together. This is our theme verse for the whole year. Let's read this together. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And we all with unveiled face, beholding the glory of God, are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. It says that